Welcome back everybody to Tactical Considerate. Topic of the day, the Condor LCS gun belt, Condor's RDS holster, and their triple mag pouch, making a complete duty belt on a budget. And I want to touch on a few features and a follow-up basically of what I purchased recently, and I've been giving it some running and gunning and breaking it in a little bit, and I can give you a few of my thoughts and observations. So getting into it, again, that's Condor's LCS sort of tactical gun belt, and it's a two-piece belt featuring a 2-inch MOLLE web, and two-piece meaning the inner, which is a rubber texture here, this pulls back on both sides of the buckle, and that allows you to adjust the belt length for yourself. So there's Velcro that's exposed here. We can get into it with one hand if I can. So you can pull this off. You can remove that completely. And then you're gonna get to this and pull this back. And that right there comes to this point here where you can let it out or decrease it and make it tighter on your waist. So again, and once that's all been adjusted, you've got adjustment on both sides of the buckle, make it symmetrical. You fit it to your pant size, your waist size, your over the clothes size, as I call it, because you've got winter duty, you've got summer duty. So you've got flexibility there in terms of length of belt. Moving on, we got a 2-inch QD plastic buckle. We've got all black nylon construction. It's a fairly stiff belt, and otherwise it's fairly well padded, and the rubberized grippy interior portion of the belt seems to work really well, holding everything where you want it to. It's completely all the way around, you know. And you know, it's a good quality belt. Stitching, workmanship, material selection, everything seems good. I will say I purchased the medium, which is waist size 34 and up. And although that matched my belt length of about 45 inches, technically my waist is more of a 33. And I said, well, I don't want to go down to a small. That just doesn't seem like it would fit me. I've got this belt shrunk down as much as can be, and I've got about an inch of spare length on this belt at that point. So in my summer clothes, I've got a little bit of wiggle room, but I'm not going to say the belt's loose because it's not, and it doesn't move around, and it's not flopping, and the rubber grip is doing a great job. And I think that's going to work out just fine for me, because when you're into winter gear, and if you're throwing it over a coat, you know, or heavy sweatshirt or anything like that, if you happen to throw it over your, you know, upper body clothing that's bulkier, you know, that inch, give or take, would easily be taken up, and I don't need it to be taken up. But there's room to grow if I had a real heavy coat or something. And I don't really prefer to put a duty belt over a coat, you know, but you do see people do that occasionally. So I got room to grow with that, and at its minimum, it's fine for summer type clothing when you're not wearing much. I just want to warn you that, you know, if you're a 33 waist or even a 32 waist, you're going with a small. If you're bigger than a 36-inch waist, I guess they're recommending go up to a large, and that be that. Again, I'm a 33. My belt length is about 45 inches. My pant size is typically a 34. And, you know, and luckily I had the ability to, you know, shrink it down. Let's move on. One more thing I'm going to say about the QD buckle. It is decent quality. I can at least open that up for you. And not to say a bad thing, but I'm not sure. You know, I have a lot of camping gear, hiking gear, and it's all QD buckle type stuff. I mean, the quality of this one's not bad, but I'm a little bit, I'm gonna monitor if that's strong enough long-term. I think it is. I do have better QD buckles on some backpack style camping gear, other things like that I've owned for years. So, you know, some real brand name backpacks that run you 150 bucks, 200 bucks. Yeah, I got some really solid QD buckles. These guys seem just a little soft right there. You can see that. You can get replacement buckles from Condor. So you can just buy them and have them handy. It's a 2-inch buckle. They sell 1-inch buckle. They sell them as a kit. It's not a big deal. It's $10. But I'm not saying that's gonna fail. I'm saying, but that's where it's gonna fail in time. And that be that. It's not a bad belt for the money, and I recommend it. This is their RDS holster, which is basically a generic holster designed for full-size firearms with red dot sights or anything else that typically sticks out. You can see I don't have any type of optic red dot there, just got factory irons, but you know, it works really well. It definitely it has a lot of adjustability within its Velcro enclosure. I'm not going to take that all apart, but you can see, you know, it's adjustable in length of barrel, give or take up to 5-inch barrel, so that covers a full-size pistol. You've got a snap buckle, you've got this cover over on that, which is Velcro should you need a double layer. There's also a quick you know, bungee retention that's also removable. I took it out. That's obviously a Velcro thing. You know, nice solid holster. What I like about it is it mounts really well to the belt. You got two, you know, it's all part of the MOLLE. You've got 2 snaps right here. I've got it, you know, so it went through the belt's MOLLE, and then it went back through the holster's straps and snap. And this is very solid in terms of connected to the belt. There's no issue with this pivoting on this. And I have other nylon belts, you know, that had like a strong metal buckle, or there's even Kydex holsters that have sort of a clamshell grip that just grab your belt, and all those things pivot. So you got to be aware of that. I know a lot of guys are like, why'd you buy a nylon belt? Well, I bought it because I thought it would mount really well to the MOLLE belt, and it does. It's basically bolted. It feels like it's bolted through like it's one piece. You know, I don't need some fancy holster and only to have it pivoting around on me constantly, or you know, or whatever. Kydex is maybe great for certain applications, but I don't like it for everything. And I think for 90% of people, you know, including, you know, over the years looking at what law enforcement typically used, you know, a good nylon belt, a good nylon holster. Although, yeah, this doesn't have level 3 retention or something along those lines. It's a cute, you know, there you go. It's a snap, and again, there's a bungee retention I can install with this, and I've also got this Velcro over. And you're not going to use all that, but you know, you have the option to, and remove it even. This is more than enough holster for the average person. This is obviously not concealed. This is open carry. And you know, and that's another thing. Again, I'm not doing some chest-mounted Kydex holster, you know, and it's some proprietary thing that took 3 weeks to have custom ordered, and you know, and then one day it just cracks and breaks and it's done and it's garbage. You know, this is a duty belt. I've got pistol mag pouches from Condor right here, you know, and again, this is decent stuff. I removed the Velcro over cover right there, so everything's more quick draw. They're actually pretty snug. I'm testing all that out. I may put those covers back on. They're Velcro attached. Got really decent quality. Again, you know, MOLLE connections with strap, with little snaps here, etc. But yeah, I think this is a good holster. This is the RDS holster, universal, right hand. I think I've showed that to you pretty well at this point. You know, a fair amount of adjustment in it, and I really didn't have any concern that it would fit my full-size pistol, even though they're talking about it being designed for optics. It's just got a cutout here, you know, that allows something like that. That's not a bad idea. And again, the triple mag pouch, you know, on my left side takes care of that. So I think this is good quality stuff. My one concern is that QD buckle, but I think that's manageable. And you know, I'm gonna have some replacement buckles anyway for the chest rig I have, and you know, at some point I'll probably order that. It's just part of a kit. Spare parts are important in life, and I just wanted to touch on that. But yeah, for the person who wants something concealed, that's a different, you know, you're in a different category of needs at that point. You might be doing Kydex, you know, you may be doing something else. If you want something chest mounted, that's another, you know, set of circumstances. I think for open carry, for, you know, just for on the ranch, on the home, that type of stuff. I think a basic nylon holster, more than what 90% of people need. It's affordable, and I'll leave it at that. I want to say the triple mag pouch was about 20 bucks. What was the belt? Under 40, and the holster was another 30. So, that's really not a lot of money. So I'm going to leave it there. And that was Tactical Considerate with the LCS gun belt overview, and RDS holster, and a triple mag pouch setup on a medium sized belt. So over and out.